Good morning, loves. Good morning, loves. I think I need to light some more incense. I think I need to light some more sage. I got my signal this morning. So I will start, although it has already begun. Last night I received a message from a very dear and long-term client. She sent me a inbox from all of my social media spaces last night. She also sent me a text message. Now, I haven't heard from Yadena in this way in 22 years. Yadena is a very powerful sister. She came to me 22 years ago. My mother's going to kill me, child. She came to me 22 years ago to start her mission. She wanted to start her hair. And it's not a coincidence that she called me last night. I have been going through the process of ridding myself of records and other things because it is time for me to let go of Chicago. And I asked for it. I asked the universe a long time ago to leave Chicago. A few times. And the universe was not ready for me to leave then. But it is now. And Dana confirmed that for me this morning when we talked about her hair and her 22-year journey as a powerful beacon. And I told her that it was okay and that it's time for her to release her 22-year lock journey. I found my answers in counseling my sister this morning. I have been going back and forth with the idea of asking my Jedis for assistance in my relocation. It has been a struggle because I am a very humble yet prideful person. So I'll tell you the story in its entirety, which is now on my blog and will soon be in email form, which you may see and receive shortly. For those of you who have stayed connected with me, who I've shared this information with you in confidence, it is now okay to talk about it. And that is the reason why it is okay for me to send this information to those of you who have supported me. I woke up from a dream in October, and after having a very trying August with a few things that changed how I would move around the city, I was depressed, and I have come to the conclusion that I've been depressed on and off for a few years. But in August, I had a car accident, and my car was not that it wasn't drivable, but it was leaking. I proceeded to get estimates. My liability, of course, didn't cover the damage to the car. And unfortunately, I had to park it because things were slow in August. But I was moving and working. Unfortunately, the car sat for a pretty long time. In addition to that, I had to release two of my staples financially. Two of the venues that I've worked with for 10 years decided to go in a different direction. I had no answers then, but I kept moving as much as I could under the circumstances. Then I had this dream in October, and I woke up with this feeling that I needed to call my Jedi, a Jedi who I hadn't talked to in well over, I guess, 4, maybe 6 years. I called him or text messaged to find out where he was and what was happening in his life. To make a long story short, we continued to communicate. In November, I had one of the hardest days. It's Thanksgiving. I had one of the hardest days I've ever had in my life. It's very, very dark. And my best friend and more pulled me through that day just by listening. Just by listening. I made it. I made it through that day. I wasn't sure that I would. But God pulled me through. And because I believe that God is powerful, and I believe in myself, I did not do what the voices asked me to do. You have voices. And all of them are not bad. Some of them are, though. The voices told me to call someone based on my dream. And I called him. We talked extensively. I made it through. And universally, we found the same issues. He was healing, and I was seeking healing. We are creative people, and creative people seek healing through creation. Now, I have to say it as it is, because some of us seek creation in ways that are negative. Some of us seek creation of drama. Some of us seek creation of love and light. For me, I see creation because it heals me. I seek further creation because I know that my creations can heal others. The creation of music is a healer. The creation of playing music can be a healer. It is for me. I have created Morning Love for several reasons. I created Morning Love because I love playing music. I created Morning Love because I needed something to do to communicate with people who might need something in the middle of their week to get them through, to get me through, pardon me, to get us through our day-to-day challenges, whatever they were. And we are challenged, both good and bad. So, good morning, Terrence Stevenson. So, I've been going through this process based on the idea that I have to let go. And this morning, after the conversation with my Jedi of 22 years, after telling her to let go of her hair, I not only have to let go of Chicago, I have to let go of my pride. And pride says that Fathom DJ / Danielle Abston can do everything. And she can. She cannot do everything without the support of her Jedis, without the support of her mother, without the support of her aunt and her peers. So I released a blog post, and it gives you a little bit of the conversation and a narrative for what I see as divinely ordered. I lost my point. We are seeking different. We are seeking better. We are seeking more because the Lord has given us the voice to tell us that we deserve it, which means whatever it is that you are seeking, someone is seeking as well. Someone will aid you in what it is that you say you want and deserve, and most certainly more than anything, need. I have needed a change. I have needed new energy. I have needed inspiration. I found it. I have found it. And all of this is the reason why all of these things have been happening in my world under the hashtag of what's to come. When I started the what's to come hashtag a year ago, it was based on the idea that I was going to release my first EP in the title of what's to come. And probably about a little under a month ago, my hard drive started acting funny, and I had backed it up. And that EP and the recordings were not saved, as far as I understand. I'm not giving up on that. But what's to come over the last few months has become my leaving Chicago. So, to circle back around so that it makes sense for those of you who didn't hear the beginning, I had a conversation this morning with a very spiritual and powerful woman who asked me the question, what should she do about the hair on her head that we created 22 years ago? And she knew the answers. She knew. She needed me to confirm for her that it was okay to let her 22-year-old locks go. And in that, I found my confirmation that it is okay for me to share the information of my departure from the city of Chicago today. Some of you will, again, receive a blog link in your inboxes on Messenger. Some of you will receive an email to your email accounts with I don't know what you call these things anymore. I know that it's taken me way too long to do this newsletter update of my news, but you will receive it shortly. These last couple of days especially have been a bit emotional for me because it's real. It is so very real when you ask the universe for what you want. Now, this is the thing, because, it's always about inspiring and encouraging people. You have to be specific. You can't just go be throwing around. You can't just go throwing around the idea of thoughts and saying things, because if you're a believer of the law of attraction, then you know that you will get all that you attract based on your thoughts. So, having said that, the law of attraction has answered my call and has told me everything that I need to know, regardless to the fact that I am still in the process of ridding myself of things in my storage space. I'm still in the process of ridding myself of things at home. And I am ridding myself of the idea that I am not too prideful to ask my Jedis to aid me in my mission to get to Atlanta, to get to my new life, and to continue forth with what I know is one of my life's missions, which is to play good music and to service people who need healing through music, but to also further learn a few businesses that I have been asking the universe to help me to learn more about, which is the hospitality industry, which is the nightlife industry, as well as continuing my DJ and music endeavors in those industries. So at this point, the mission is to continue to pack, continue to purge. And when I say purge, if you get a picture on any of my timelines, but more likely on my Facebook timeline, you may see my studio desk, which has to go. You may see my handmade console that my aunt and I created a little over 3 years ago around this period that I love so much, and a few other things potentially. Those things have to leave as my new location is what I asked for a long time ago, a smaller space. It is official. It's been official. It's been official for, I don't know. It was official pretty much in April. And now it is time. So like I said, you'll receive links with the information. You'll also receive an opportunity if you haven't already. If you have, I most certainly appreciate those of you who have supported Fathom's Big Dig, who've helped me spread the information about Fathom's Big Dig. I needed to get rid of those records. I needed to get rid of storage. I needed to let go of, and I'm still doing that, Terrence Stevenson. I'm letting go of a lot of things that I've just been holding on to. And I think some of those things, in hindsight, I know that everything happens in divine order, so I don't have any regrets about how long it's taking me to part with these things. But I do know for certain that in order to get more, and I know this is true, I know that it is true, because in order to get more, you have to let go. In order to get more, you will be asked to sacrifice things that you could not imagine letting go of. But because we believe in the Lord, we believe that the Lord and our ancestors have set us on the mission to get our heart's desires, that we have to let go of things that we say that we love in order to get them. I'm lighting another incense. So I'm letting go. And I'm letting go of the idea that I can't feel bad about sharing this information with people. Because I've been, waiting, being still and waiting on an opportunity to, I don't know, I've been waiting for the answers. And the answer is you got to release a lot. So I'm releasing my pride today. I'm letting go of the idea that I got, all the money I need to get to Atlanta. I don't. I have the opportunity, and I also have a place to reside, and I'm grateful for my new job and my new opportunity. And I'm really hoping that when you listen to this, that you're encouraged and inspired. And I've got my confirmation. Watching this process has been inspirational. It's the confirmation, Terrence Stevenson, that if it's for you, then it will happen. Yeah. So in the next couple days, I have to go to Oakland. Now, why is that happening? Why am I going to Oakland? No. Why is my hard drives being turned off? I have to go to Oakland. Oh, because it's unplugged. I have a real hard drive now that plugs up. And it needed some attention. But what I'm saying to you is I have to go to Oakland. I committed to a festival, and by all accounts, the event is a uber small event, and it did not go the way that the creator of the event planned it to go. It was supposed to be a retreat, and there were supposed to be tents, and people were supposed to come on this ground in California and hang out for 3 days of a music festival. And the truth of the matter is, and this is my opinion, but I will share it, I think they only relied on social media to get the word out. So the ticket sales for the event weren't what they needed to justify doing it in that manner. And universally, because of the fact that I consented to doing it, I'm keeping the date. So I'm headed to Oakland for what is a 2-day event called the Pedestal Festival. When I return on Monday, then everything becomes about the mission of continuing to rid myself of my unnecessities and to set my departure date, my final departure date for Atlanta. So I haven't set it yet because I wasn't called to set it. Based on a few things. Number one, the venue and the build out, and not knowing exactly when the date to open, the official opening, would be, as well as the training for the venue, Rocksteady, and all of the things that it entails to open. So I was just kind of like, well, I'm just going to hold and wait until we know specifically what the opening date will be. And I still don't know that exactly, but I do know that I have to be there 2 weeks before what is set to be the opening for training. And so that means somewhere around the middle of September. The middle of September is what's cited currently as being that date. Thank you, Terrence. It's not easy. It's easy for people who aren't thoughtful. It's easy for people who are, I don't want to be judgmental about it. I do know that there are a bunch of folks who are very loose, is what I'll say, about giving away all of their information. I have come from a space of knowing from a DJ standpoint that we have a lot of, unfortunately, we have a lot of, I don't want to call people thirsty because that's judgmental. People who are very afraid and insecure about their talent, and I understand that. We also have a bunch of people who are I'm trying to choose my words wisely so that you know my heart for sure. We also have a bunch of people who are trying to find themselves. And I have to say this because right now I'm thinking about my homie, Sandra Jones, who is no longer on Facebook. And I'm so proud of her because we have a bunch of people who are so interested in garnering attention without being specific as to why they need it, that it has created a climate of what looks like, I'm not the final judge of the information, but it looks like desperation when you just get to the point where you're throwing anything out. My morning love sessions up to this point have kind of, my mother's gonna get me, has kind of led to the understanding that there are a lot of people doing some real interesting things on the internet. Sandra, for whatever reason, I don't know specifically because we haven't talked, but Sandra came to the conclusion that she needed to bounce. So she deactivated her account, and she is mostly in the real world. I know, she's gonna eventually hear this because I'm gonna send it to her because she asks me when I update and do stuff to make sure to send it to her. So I'll make sure to send her this. But she's not here anymore. She's not in social media. And there's a very important reason why she isn't, because spirit is a very fragile thing. We all have one. Some of us listen. Some of us don't listen. But I am proud of her for listening to her spirit. I guess if I have to say this, and I'll say it as I feel it, because it's important to know, if you, and I said this before, I've said it in my YouTube videos, there's one specific one. If you aren't careful and specific and sure, just like any other addiction or any other drug, social media will take all of you. In my opinion, it is the new drug of society. That's some heavy shit. But I've done this research and I mentioned it a few times. I've mentioned it in my morning love sessions, that there are a lot of people who are doing some real interesting things. And once again, I'm proud of Sandra Jones for not allowing herself to potentially get to the space where she felt low and depressed. I think it is one of the reasons why I had the moment that I had in November, because when you put yourself out for your projects, you put yourself in the world to show your endeavors, to be what is now trendy as an influencer, there is a drive, a different level of push that says that you have to give more and do more and be better and be bigger and show everything. And unfortunately, it can trick you into mindlessness. And I'm so mindful. Whew, I'm so mindful that I'm too mindful. Because of that, I saw the signs, I saw it, and I was just like, okay, I'm doing too much. I went to MySpace, I went to YouTube for the reason of sharing my story and being encouraging and inspiring and helping people and being inspired based on doings. And then it started turning. So I have to stay on social media based on my endeavors. I can't just roll out and shut my accounts down. But I definitely know that you have to pour sparingly for several reasons. One of those reasons I talked about last week in Morning Love, and that is the idea that there are people who are not so well doing things that are not good in the internet. So, you just don't want to be so free with all of your business. And again, there is a meme that suggests that we offline is the new luxury, meaning somebody is really living their lives and not reporting everything that they do to the internet. And that is a luxury that people who are insecure and who are attention starved don't deserve or can't afford. Because of it, you gotta be careful. I need to give a shout out to David right now. David Shields. Interesting. David Shields, thank you very much. I see that you have blessed me on this day, and I truly appreciate it. I really do. Let me see. I wish I saw the Zelle so there would be no fee immediately withdraw. But please realize the biggest thought I have with life. That's some deep. I'm not reading that because it sounds personal. But anyway, I'm just kind of hanging out and going through my thoughts. I'm going to drink some water. I appreciate you listening to me. I know it's long, but there's a lot of information that I'm getting right now. And I am trying to navigate this information. So yeah, I'm headed to Oakland, and when I get back, the mission will be all about getting myself together and packing up a truck and praying that my cats don't lose their mind, because I have put all of us in a very interesting space these last couple months in effort to move around in the city and to get things done and things of that nature. So we got to get my children together and get them prepared for this road trip that I am to take. Yeah. And right now I'm still kind of spacey about the idea, but so there are links in my blog post where if you feel so inclined to drop a gift for me to help me get to the city of Atlanta, there are links for my Cash App account and Zelle, which I'm hearing isn't the place to put money, I guess somebody is saying, as well as a PayPal account link. So if you're interested in contributing to my move, I would appreciate whatever it is. If you got encouragement, I'll take that. If you have some connectivity, like some people I need to meet and need to know in the city of Atlanta, I am most certainly looking to connect with people. I am moving around the city of Chicago without a car, as I have been for almost a year. I cannot believe that I've had the challenges that I've had, and not being able to get around the city. It just didn't happen the way that I thought. It's coming back. This is going to be long, y'all. It's coming back. So what I thought was going to happen after I had my accident was that I was going to be able to get the car fixed and continue my journey. What started a week became 2 weeks, became 3 weeks, became a month, became 2 months, and then I lost Tantrum and Renaissance. And then the mission simply became about trying to find work. And of course, being an independent contractor who has for several years made her own money with several streams of income, this is not the easiest thing to do, but I started, applying for employment and things of that nature, and it just did not happen. I know now, this is testimony, that it was not supposed to happen, because I think if I had found a job, I interviewed with a brother children's program here in Chicago, that if I had found a job, then I probably would have been less likely to want to move, because I would get comfortable again. And though I was real excited about the possibility of working with the babies here in Chicago, I was nervous about the possibility of getting that job, because I knew, and I started to know in February when my mentor moved to Atlanta that it was on. Something was on. I knew that then. And so I was just kind of like, if you get this job, then you're going to fall in love with these kids and this process, and you're going to struggle with leaving. And luckily, my work switched in December. So I started getting more opportunities in areas that I used to play in, which I think was an interesting thing after this conversation, because Wicker Park and River North and the West Loop and all of those places are where I first started DJing. So I think the universe was like, okay, we're going to take you through memory lane and all of that. You're going to see what's happening. And my theory and thought was that I was going to possibly move back to the north side, because the south side didn't bear the fruits that I thought it was when I moved back to the south side over 10 years ago. Didn't bear the fruits. There were fruits, but the industries changed, and the nightlife scene changed as well, and we didn't get. What did we get? We got a lot of things. We got new venues. We got a bunch of people aspiring to DJ who are really simply looking for attention. We also got, some real DJs who started really getting inspired and doing what they need to do. In essence, though, we got a lot of competition, and we got a lot of spaces that I think, honestly, were subpar in representing DJs. Because now the city says, oh, well, we got tons of DJs. We can pay y'all pennies. And because you want to hop up and down on the internet, you will accept them. And we do. And I've been blessed to be able to continue to work in any capacity, but with specificity, meaning not just any work, But particular work, I've been blessed to be able to do that for these past couple months. It just did not render the fruits that it rendered 3 years ago. And here's where the story gets another twist. So 4 years ago, I was in Atlanta playing for a woman by the name of Monica Simpson, who had a release party. 4 years ago, I played at a place called Sound Table in Edgewater. 4 years ago, I met a man from Atlanta who is the producer of some major corporate events. That man in Atlanta came into the Sound Table, and I was rocking out, and he took a picture of me, and that picture is, to me, very legendary and very important, because after that picture was taken and after I came back to Chicago, January rolled around, and that same man called me and asked me to do a few corporate events that rendered very good fruits. Very good fruits. So, and I wasn't thinking about Atlanta. And, well, that's not true. I went to Atlanta, had a good time. I didn't feel myself there. And maybe it was because I didn't feel myself there at the time. But I was just like, oh, Atlanta's cool, blah, 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 blah. Came home 4 years ago, started putting out music, met a very talented singer-songwriter while I was there. We put out a song together called Artist Manifesto with, interestingly enough, a Nigerian producer. And I continued to produce and do what I needed to do to brand and market myself. A few other opportunities to work with the event producer were on the table, and those opportunities did not manifest the way that I assumed they would. And that's why you can't be too sure. I assumed that I was going to get at least contracted for a few more of those events, and that didn't happen. And that also kind of put the damper on my spirit, because I was set to go back to Hawaii that next year. It was on the table. It did not get inked. And unfortunately, I remember that July that year that it didn't get inked. It just, because I was there and everything, and in my mind I was ready to go, and they had to pull the plug based on the budget. And yeah, so that just gives you an idea of the challenges that I've had this last 3 years, just merely continuing. But I'm so grateful, because I know that all of the things that I have gone through in the last 3 years have brought me here. Everything that you go through has a reason for happening. You have to believe that something above you, that some folk above you have aided and heard you call them. Calling all ancestors was what it was for a reason. It is still what it is. It's not done. It's not over. It's just on hiatus. 'Cause my priorities had to switch quickly, especially after losing my car. But those people above you are above you to aid you. Pardon me. This is really real right now. You got to listen to them. Listen. Call on your grandmother. Call on your grandfather. Call on your aunts. Call on your cousins. Call on the people that you don't know. Call on Miles Davis. Call on Angela's still with us. I don't like to call people like that when they're not on the spiritual level because they still got energy and they need it. Pardon me. But call on your ancestors and ask them. Tell them your problems. They're watching and they are prepared to aid God to getting you where you're supposed to be. But you got to do some other work. You can't be out here starting a mess. You can't be all up in other people's business and being negative. You have to know when to be still. You have to listen to your intuition. You have to listen to your spirit. You have to do work. What do they say about it? I'm not a Bible thumper, but you have to. You can ask, you can pray, but you have to work. And your work ain't always, oh, I go to work and I get a check, blah, 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 blah. No, it's some different shifts. You have to be mindful. You have to be grateful. You have to be humble. You have to be still. You have to be diligent. You have to move when the universe tells you to move. And you can't do all of that hopping up and down and paying attention to everybody else's business. You can't. You can't. You can't. And you definitely have to have good people around you. You have to be aligned. It's part of the reason why I cannot feel bad about not hanging out at everybody's party. I cannot feel bad about not supporting people who I could support, going out in the streets and spending money mindlessly. I can't feel bad about any of those things because when you know that you're being prepared for something else, you have to stay focused on what that is and do that work. And this is very long. It's so long that I don't even want to listen back to this. Sometimes I listen to my morning love sessions too. I did a Sunday's Truth on Facebook a few years back, and it talked about passion and your calling and listening, and I watched it this morning, and I'm planting seeds again for those who need them. I'm planting seeds that I may have to resource later. That's the gem in creating and doing work, is you might need to go dig up what you planted later and utilize it. And so in effort, that's what this morning love is about. I have given you a lot of information that I was against my greater good in this cast. The reason why I've done it here is because I'm committed to morning love. I know that morning love works. I know that I feel better when I do it. I know that I'm going to continue doing it. I don't know what my schedule is going to be like. But the goal is to continue this podcast and continue this effort because I know that it helps me. Every Wednesday has helped me for the past couple years that we've done it. And it's going to be different. It's going to be better because my energy and my insight and my intuition and my gift is stronger than ever. And I've been doing that work because I believe in it. And I believe that somebody besides myself needs it. I was told a long time ago that I was supposed to do this work. And I have been slowly but surely doing it. And that is the reason why I'm so grateful for my sister Yadena Israel. And if you don't know who Yadena Israel is, find her because she has the gift. And she has the energy, and she is out here trying to heal some people as she heals herself. And she is a beacon of light, and she is to be connected with here in Chicago. I got to go connect with some other Jedis in another region, and that is the reason why I'm leaving. So I want to send you cosmic kisses and well wishes to your day and your week. Once again, if you didn't get the email, you will get an email from me. You can read it if you like. If you don't want to, you don't have to, because God is moving and improving. And regardless, all he wants is your effort and your testimony. So yeah, again, this morning when I woke up, I was told to let go. So I let go of my pride, and I am here very vulnerable and asking for your assistance in effort to move to Atlanta. And I am available to be reached by all of my accounts. You know what it is: Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Amazon, TrackSource, Beatport, Google Play, iTunes, Fathom Spins, Findingfathomdj.com, hashtag Findingfathomdj. You will find me in your World Wide Webosphere. And you will soon find me in the city of ATL. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your support in any capacity. There are a few people who have aided me up until this point. You know who you are. You know that I will be communicating with you. It's been a very sensitive week for me. And it ain't over yet, but I most certainly owe some people some apologies too, because like I said, it's been an interesting week. So anyway, that is it. That is all. I have to find food and water and get to getting it, whatever that means. So once again, it's your girl Fathom DJ, live and direct via Spreaker. It's Morning Love. Morning Love will continue. We're going to get back to that space of music and light and love and everything in its original format from a different location, from a space in Atlanta in West Midtown. Get ready for that. I got to get ready for it. I've been antsy and ready and not ready and ready and so it's on, it's official, it's real. You heard it from me. Tell a friend, and let's see what kind of magic the Lord has to make on the other side of this chapter that I'm closing out here in Chicago as I prepare for my next Cosmic Kisses space. Hey, I'm trying to get out. Andre Derry, I see you. I would like to see, I should say this. So because I haven't really had an opportunity to come up with an actual date until sometime at this point, I was really trying not to have an event. And I'm really trying not to do that because it's a bit of a distraction from all of the things that I have to continue to do until it's time for me to leave. But I do feel inclined to do a little something. And I got to come up with a date for that. And it's going to be super little because I don't have the funds to hire a DJ, to buy or rent a venue, to do any of those things. It's not about any of that anymore, but I feel inclined to connect with some people who I appreciate, and that is going to happen. The question is when. I know where it's going to happen in Bronzeville. I know that it's going to happen in the courtyard of the Rosenwald. I just don't know the date as of yet. Child, the truck might be outside and we might have a nice little melee and I might get in the truck and drive away. I don't know. But I will let those of you who and it's no shade, but I'm not trying to have a party. And because I know that everybody is not with me on my mission, I've had a few people around me as of recently who are not with me on my mission. And it is okay that they have their own missions. It is not okay to exploit other people based on your mission, I don't think. My intent is always to help people. Exploitation does kind of happen in social media, unfortunately, but there are a few people who I've been around in the last couple months who had other motives. So everybody is not going to be invited. It's going to be like, to me, it feels like 7, maybe 10 people. Maybe. It might be 25. I don't know. All I know is when I hit you in the inbox and ask you to meet me for a drink in the courtyard of my mother's building, you will know. All right, I'm going for real. Cosmic kisses and well wishes to your day, and I will talk to you. Thank you, Terrence. I have to figure some things out in terms of that because, the idea was just to have people together and say a few words and, maybe have a little champagne or something and not do a DJ situation because it's work involved. But if it happens, we'll see what happens. But I'll talk to you about that in the inbox. So anyway, I am bidding you the best day that you can imagine. I'm sending cosmic kisses and well wishes to your day and the rest of your week. I am Fathom DJ, live and direct via Spreaker. This is Morning Love, and I will see you, or you will hear my voice sometime next week. But of course, I'll see you on the internet somewhere because that's what the internet's for. Space.